around over here, and I'm like, okay, that's muscle, and I can tell my muscles are getting tighter, you know, and I can tell my skin's getting looser, you know, that kind of thing. I can tell stuff's shifting, but I felt that, and that's like, that feels different, and it's about the size of a fist, or my fist anyway, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so when she first looked at it, she says, well, I think it might be a hernia. And she says, well, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm trying to lose weight. Don't tell me I can't do it.
The doctor told you that it was a hernia?
Well, she says, I think it might be, but we're going to do an ultrasound.
Okay.
You know, so when I went into the ultrasound, you could see that there is a mass, but in the middle of it, there's a black hole thing. You know, if you looked at it as a regular picture, kind of like think of a rocky mountain, you know, with a black cave hole type of thing in there. That's kind of what it looked like in the picture.
Okay.
Which was really weird. But you know, of course, the person who's taking the picture says, you know, I can't tell you what it is because I just take the picture. It's someone else to figure out what it is, you know, type of thing. So we're waiting to hear from the doctor what they think might be.
Okay.
You know, and we might have to have a test or something like that. He's all kinds of freaking out about it because he says, like, well, what if it's a tumor and you have to have surgery? I says, well, I guess I get to lose some weight. What do you want me to say? You know, it's like.
But if it is a hernia.
You know, and then that was my question. It's like, see, the only time I've ever heard of hernias is for guys. You know, I never knew that women could have that problem. And she explained to me how the muscle has torn itself apart, and what's underneath is trying to come out. And I says, well, what do you do about it? Can it heal itself or something like that? She didn't talk like it could. She says, well, you can get a belt and this and that and the other. You can't lift weights. And I'm like, I gotta lift the weights. You know, it's like, you know, granted it's only 5-10 pounds, but you know, I gotta do.
Is there any pain?
Not really. You know, I know at one point I had pain when I first started working out, you know, when we first started and everything. And I had a lot of pain from, you know, doing like the different gym exercises, but it wasn't like heavy lifting. It was more like, you know, we're doing push-ups and sit-ups and that kind of thing. And so I didn't know. And she says, well, the only other option is that we'd have to have surgery and we'll sew it back together. I was like, well, then if you have to do that, you have to do that. You know, I'm not really super worried what we have to do. I've been through a dozen different surgeries of my own anyway, so it's just, you know, it's just another one. But I just thought it was strange that that's there. But when like I said, when they did the ultrasound, you can definitely see a separation of this part versus this part. There's a definite difference in the you know, how things are moving. You know, it's like this.
Did they do any blood work?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I figured, you know, they're probably trying to see, okay, can we take a peek and see what that is? You know, and I would think that the next part would probably be like a biopsy or something like that, some sort of test, you know, take a tissue sample from that point to find out what it is, you know, type of thing. So.
Or it could be just a hernia.
Yeah, it could be just a hernia. And don't sweat it. You know, we'll probably have to patch me up or something like that. But
yeah, especially it depends on how big the hole is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird, and you know, and she made the comment that it probably been there for a while, and I just didn't notice it because of my weight, you know. And she's like, well, you know, she's telling me how I could sit on my butt all the time, and I'm like, I can't do that. I gotta be active. There's no way around this. You know, I'm in the process of losing over 100 pounds. Almost 200 pounds, to be honest, and this is
but the problem with that is if you do have a hernia, you don't want your organs pushing through. That's not going to be a good thing either. There are things you can probably do. So she doesn't want you lifting weights. What else?
anything that requires the stomach muscle.
Yeah, so
basically.
no sit-ups.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but the way she talked, it didn't sound like it'd heal itself, though.
No. No, if it's been on that big, it probably won't, and if it's been there for that long, it probably...
So probably surgery would be the
Well, it
option,
just
yep.
depends. I guess you'll hear those options once they figure out exactly what the problem may be.
Yeah, so, we're all, and if it's just a hernia, I guess that's okay, that's better than a tumor.
Correct.
It's just one of those.
Yeah, absolutely, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, yeah, it's just,
especially when you start throwing out the word mass, and it's people get, a little scared, so.
It's like, what kind of, and of course I had to be the brat, I'm in the room by myself, and so when I come out, he says, well, what is it? And I said, it's a boy! He's like, I don't think so. So I was being a naughty person type of thing, so.
So tell me about your week besides that.
Had a relative issue that I think we pretty much solved. You know how it is, how you have a relative that nobody wants anything to do with, type of thing. Well, one of them called me, and my sister apologized profusely for giving him my phone number, but he kept insisting, and of course he's persistent.
So why did he call you?
His daughter was having some problems, and he was trying to find out about moving her to Colorado, and it's one of those, we don't want anything to do with Dad, we're not too sure we want anything to do with daughter, because we don't know what the story is with daughter, type of thing. But I can't, I'm one where you start with this clean slate, I'm willing to get, open, the possibility that you are an okay person. But I didn't want to have her come here and have her shunned by the whole family because she's the daughter of this person that we want nothing to do with, And, so, in that, and if I just, give the handouts, then I'm, obviously gonna give myself a whole lot of problems with the handout thing. So, it's one of those, okay, I've been in your predicament before, we're a single mom, well, sort of. She's with the dad, but he's useless, type of thing. And she's, she just wants to move forward, she's got a kid to deal with, that kind of thing. I needed, and I could lose, the possibility of losing my home, type of thing. So, she's in Florida, so I love YouTube. Because of YouTube, I'm in association with some YouTubers, and I know there's one that lives out in Florida. And so I contacted her, and I says, I have a problem, I don't know what to do, and I know what to do here in Colorado, but I don't know anything about Florida, and I'm trying to find websites. So she sent me a bunch of information of what's available out there in the area that my relative is in, and so I passed that on to her, and she sent back she's called back, and she says, there is so much information. Did you know there's this program and that program? I never heard of it because it didn't exist when my son was little, and I wished it was there.
Right.
At the time, and what should I do about this? And I was thinking about, she was getting to the point where she was thinking about going into stripping. And I'm like, you don't want to ever go there. Don't ever go there. There's other possibilities. Well, she's got a job opportunity. What do we do here? And come to find out, there's a program that will take care of her kids, so she can go see about the job, type of thing. And so it's progressive. And she's telling me how much she's thankful. She says, at least you're giving me something to focus on. At least you're helping me figure out where I should be, and I told her, I says, if Dad's not a help, he's a hindrance, and then he's just dead weight. You're better off without him than with him, to be honest. I know it sounds cold and rude and mean and horrible, but, the man needs to grow up here and be a father. If he's not, get out of your life and leave me alone, type of thing. And I told her, you got a pair just like he does, except you wear yours on your chest, and they're bigger, so I was being kind of bold and broad there, but it was, she finally realized, that she's the tougher one. He's not, and you do what you have to do with or without them, and that's just all there is to it. Just grow a backbone and be busy. And she's like, okay. So it's been progressively getting better for her. So that's that, and pretty much everything else is just trying to get ready for VidCon. You know, I got a sewing project that's been taking forever to do, and I'm getting close to the end, that kind of thing, and I'm trying to be mindful of all the exercise and working out. We've been good. We've been going to the gym.
Got back to the gym, good.
We went back to the gym, and we've been going to the walking, you know, and I had a couple of days where my counter's not working, and I don't know what the story is, you know, so I went extra walks just to make sure I got them in there. Good extra careful about, you know, measuring out my food and stuff.
So how's your scale done?
It's frustrating. It's like I get down to 259, 258, and then I'm up to 262, and then I'm 250, you know, 260, 259, 261.
Yeah, that's water. It's either water or
yeah,
constipation.
Which brings me up to something else. I found this because my leg was swelling up, and I thought maybe that might help with the water.
Water weight gain.
It doesn't seem to be, but I'm trying it.
I'm not sure about all this. This is a little bit more herbal, not I mean, you can try it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see anything on here that's gonna
Be bad or anything.
possibly hurt you. Yeah, I don't. You can try it. It looks like it's a diuretic.
Yeah. I didn't seem to
So
be.
you just gotta be careful with it when you're taking blood pressure medication, though, because most blood pressure medications are diuretics. So, and then what tends to happen is you can have a little bit more dehydration and alter your sodium potassium level. So.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't seem to think. Matter of fact, I seem to go to the bathroom less with this.
Okay.
But it's just but my legs, well, it's looking better, but it was swelling up and it was hurting, and this one started to swell up some.
That one looks better though.
Yeah, but this one, it was really driving me crazy, and I was like, maybe I need to find something to get rid of this water or something in there. So I've been trying that. I'm not super impressed with it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's not hurting me today, but it was hurting me. So,
well, let's get your weight. Let's see where you're at today.
Stuff out of my pockets.
Because the shift in your weight going up and down is all fluid or constipation. That's all it can be.
Yeah.
So you're up today.
Yeah. 262.6. And I still need to go, and I haven't.
I do want you to get back to texting me your weight though.
Okay.
Daily, so I can see it. Because we're hanging out for about a month, right about 260, 262.
Yeah.
So
and
let's get back to weighing every day, or not weighing every day, but sending me a text 2 to 3 times per week what your weight is.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's something. Just waiting for my body to decide, okay, we're going to break whatever it is that's causing you to be blocked. I am so frustrated with that. It's like, come on. I get down to 250s, and I'm like, okay, let's do some more.
Yeah, but
you know, it's like a try harder.
Can I go back to, like, when I look at your dietary log, let's see here.
I know I had a couple of days where I had.
I mean, your sodium was bouncing around, but most of the time it's fairly low. But your sodium was high early last week, but not this week. But I want you to get on the scale, take a picture, and just start sending that to me.
Okay.
Okay?
I wanna see where it is.
And I've been measuring just to make sure.
Sure.
You know.
Your fiber's bouncing around though. It's going from 10 to 11 up to 25, back down to 10 to 11 and up to 25. So that will lead to constipation.
And I do want extra fiber, right? Okay. Yeah, 'cause I know I take like fiber pills.
Yep.
I take those, what do you call it? They're pills, big fat pills, and then I have the powdered stuff.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
One of the things I heard you say though in regards to distractions was you did enough then to push back. You did enough to push back. And what I mean by that is instead of taking on somebody else's, like commonly what you can do is you can take on somebody else's problems and start becoming engulfed in their problem and not focusing on you. But you did enough where to investigate, but then to push back.
Mhm.
What I mean by that is instead of having her come here and doing everything you can to alleviate her problem, which then becomes your problem and less focus on you, you did enough just to kind of research, say, well, here's some information
Mhm.
to push back, take ownership, and go in the right direction versus me taking on all of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she should be taking care of her own problems, not me.
Right.
But I've been there.
Sure, and you can be
and
compassionate, you can be empathetic,
Yeah.
you can be sympathetic, you can be all those things towards someone, but at the same time too, enough to where you're not taking on their issues at 100%.
Right. Yeah, 'cause it should be her job to take care of it anyway. Just like anybody. It's like you can tell me you have a problem, but I can do everything in the world to solve your problem, but it's still your problem, not my problem. Does that make sense? And so the only person who can really solve your problem is you.
Correct.
Now I can point you in the right direction.
Right.
It's like, okay, you're going the wrong right there's where you need to go. If you keep going all these other directions, you're not going to focus on your problem, and that's what you need to do.
Right.
And so that's pretty much, and then, I'm more of a sympathetic ear. I've been there, done that. I've, been homeless, and stuff like that. And it's like, I lived in a truck. I was a truck driver. That was my home. I didn't have a home for a while there. And I was kind of like people were taking me in when I had my son, when he was a baby. Eventually, I did get my own place, but it's hard, it's just one of those things you just want to go here, here, here.
Right.
If she was here in Colorado, I'd say go to this facility or go to that facility or go here. I would at least do that much, but it doesn't do her any good if I do everything for her.
Correct.
So that's the reason why I contacted some people, and it's like, I don't know anything about Florida. Could you give me a clue here, And then she was like, well, I'd like to go to Colorado. I said, do you know what it's like in the winter? I was like, I think it'd be a whole lot easier for you where you're at than it would be here. And she's like, well, we got this going on and that going on. And I ended up doing some research on the homeless and the homeless situation, and I'm like, you don't want to come to Colorado. It's like half of the population is actually homeless, and it's very interesting learning how they live. I was lucky. I was a truck driver.
Right.
So living in a rig was not a big problem. But there's some situations that were very interesting out there. I even started coming up with a weird plan of the homeless working together on a piece of property and developing it, and you don't need so-called money. Like you might do some fundraisers to get the money that you need, but to find out your power source, how to get your water, how to do this and how to do that, without, outside sources, that kind of thing. It was very interesting research that I was doing. It was kind of cool.
Sure.
It was like, and for refrigerators, we can actually come up with a refrigerator without electricity. It's very interesting. I get into research, I start researching stuff, I get really crazy about it.
So are they going to call you today with your results?
I'm hoping so.
They said it would have been yesterday or today.
Yeah, they might call today, and if they don't call after a certain point, I'll probably call them and see if because this doctor's office is really bad about not calling you about stuff, so I have to call them and find out what's going on, type of thing. So, but I'm definitely a little bit on the anxious side of finding out.
Sure. No, that's understandable. I think the big thing for you is, I mean, if your weight's fluctuating that much, like I said, there's only two reasons: salt, constipation. I mean, that's just, unless and or fluid retention. If you've got something else going on that's leading to excess fluid retention, like you indicated, you had some in your lower legs.
Yeah, and I've been trying to figure out ways. It's like laying on the floor.
Are you wrapping it?
Huh?
Are you wrapping them?
I've wrapped it a couple of times. I probably should wrap it more, but it's been really super sensitive. The skin's been super sensitive.
Okay.
So just touching it's driving me crazy.
Okay.
And there's times I'll just lay down with my feet up, type of thing, hoping that drain the water this way.
Right. Well, walking can help, obviously, doing that.
Yeah, and I do a lot of that.
Yeah, walking will help. Let me get your blood pressure today, too. Have any cramps?
No.
No? Okay. Watch around for me. Yeah, blood pressure's okay. That's not an issue. So 116/80.
I thought it'd be hard. It started to pinch right here. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
did?
that hurt. Relax. Oh, that hurts.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to get back weighing every other day and sending me the text. I want to see a picture of your scale, because I need to see if you're bouncing around, and then we have to look at specifically the day before why it's going up, right? And that's the main thing. I know some of those things, like I was looking at your notes, like I can't remember, some of the days, like I can't remember all we had yesterday. It seemed like a blur. I saw that in one of your notes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be important if you're bouncing around, because then we can look specifically, okay, or if you can't remember what are you eating, right, that day before, that's either constipation or water, right? So it's important to evaluate that. So get back to sending me those texts on there, and you can also cross-reference log that in your notes those days, so that way I can go back and look equally as well. But I do want to see the scale number from your phone like you used to do.
Okay.
And see how you're doing. And then you can shoot me a text, or you can send me an email. You let me know what you find out about that as well. If we can make any adjustments, we can as well. So, but I guess the big thing is just wait. Sit and wait.
Yeah, that's about all I can do.
Hurry up and wait. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she said it's a hernia. I could probably get like a belt thing, and I said, well, I gotta do the weightlifting. I gotta do the working out, because I says, you don't understand. I'm in the process of losing over 100
Right, but
pounds.
we can focus more on cardiovascular.
Yeah.
If that's what we need to do. That would be more important, anyways. I mean, yeah, resistance training is important, but cardiovascular is what we need to do to help lose that weight. So.
Yeah. The weightlifting is more to you know.
To tone, yeah.
Yeah, to tone, to get this,
Give you
this
some strength.
stuff going out, you know, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Cause, I've noticed, especially like when I started noticing this, I was like, where'd the rest of my skin go? Because I hadn't bothered to look in the mirror, you know?
Yep.
And I guess maybe that's the reason why that spot
It's
showed
more
itself,
pronounced.
because I had so much weight, and I was trying to think, well, when was I ever in, you know, cause to get a hernia, you gotta have done something that hurt. And it's like, I can't think of anything other than, you know, yeah, I did some working out at the gym type of thing with the classes and stuff.
And you could have done it there.
Yeah. And it's like, that was, because I know there was a couple of classes where I was like, the next day, I could not move because it just hurt all the way around.
Yep.
In this area. I was like, that's the only time I can, and that was at the gym with an instructor type of thing. So, it's the only thing I could think of that could have caused something like that.
Sure.
The only other thing is, you know, some sort of strange growth that we don't want there, and I might
Right.
have to have surgery anyway. And he's like, well, what if you have to have surgery? And I says, well, I guess I'll lose weight.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, it's like whatever size this thing is.
You'll have a cute weight gain because of IVs, but predominantly, yeah, you can lose some weight. So that's what I want you to focus on this week, is getting back to sending me those texts. I want to see if you're bouncing around. I need to see specifically the days that you're bouncing around, and then cross-referencing that with the days of your diet as well, to make sure you're not, because I think the big thing is constipation. That's the only thing it can be, is constipation and water retention at this point. Yeah, you've increased your lean muscle tissue, so that kind of alters it, but it doesn't prevent you from continuously losing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're trying to understand, why they're bouncing around.
Yeah,
so.
well, I know I'm drinking like a couple of those in a day, and but I don't feel like I'm getting rid of that much water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To be honest, I know the difference. You know, there's days where it's like flood and flood and flood and flood,
Right.
but it's like any time now it would be good. You know, it's like I drank 3 of those and I've yet to go to the bathroom. You know, type of thing.
Yeah, and that could be, I mean, it depends on what you're eating with it, but salt can retain it, and it takes a little bit longer for the kidneys to filter that out, so.
Yeah, and I've resorted to putting, I take a lemon, squeeze it into my water. It's supposed to be a good diuretic thing of getting rid of water, so I'm hoping that helps.
Okay.
So.
Alright, so let's plan on seeing you back next Wednesday, again, and.
I think that's gonna be our last Wednesday before we go on our trip.
Yeah.
And, that was another question I had, let me look at my calendar here.
You're gonna be gone for 2 weeks?
Right, and we're
Okay.
picking up food today.
Okay. For that trip?
Well, I didn't get any food last week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I'm getting food.
What do you need? I've got a little, I think I have a little bit of strawberry, may have some vanilla, I've got chocolate, and I know I have peach.
I'm gonna go strawberry, peach, cause I know, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You can mix those two pretty good together.
Okay, and then there's, I tried the cinnamon thing. Did you know cinnamon's really good for the blood circulation?
Mhm.
Yeah. And that wasn't bad. What was the other thing I was thinking of? Oh, and the food bars.
What flavor? I've got chocolate, banana, chocolate, apple, cinnamon, and I think I may have some chocolate raspberry.
My brain just went south. Chocolate raspberry?
Okay.
Okay, that sounds
So
good.
strawberry, peach, and chocolate raspberry.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, 1, 2, and then we come back about the 7th or the 8th.
Okay.
And so we'll definitely, yeah, cause if I get food, and that was the other question, is if I got food this week.
We'll give
and
you
they got
some
next week.
We'll give you some for, what you
Just before, okay, then that should take care of me till I get back.
Correct.
Okay. It's like, how do I calculate all this
Alright, so
crap out?
strawberry, peach, and chocolate raspberry.
Right.
Okay, let me go get those for you.
Okay.